Grocery shopping for your family doesn't have to be overwhelming. I'm here to show you a few tips on how to read a food label so you're best prepared for your next grocery trip. The first thing you want to do when you're looking at that nutrition label is you want to look at that serving size. So for example, we're going to look at this can of chicken. A lot of people might think that an entire container of chicken is one serving, but when we look at that label, it says that there are 3 servings, and each of those servings is 2 ounces. So if you wanted to know if you were eating a serving, you would have to weigh out the amount of chicken. When we look at this container of oats, there are 13 servings here, and it says that the serving size is half a cup. So if you want to know if you're having an entire serving, you would just measure out half a cup. And once you determine that serving size, the next thing you're going to look for are those calories. So when we look at this container of chicken, there are 70 calories per serving. So we already determined that there are 3 servings in here, but if you were to have the entire container of chicken, you would just have to multiply that number 70 by 3 to know how many calories you were consuming. When you're looking at that food label, you want to first look at that total fat amount. And we really want to limit foods that are high in trans fats and saturated fats. So when we look at this can of chicken, we can see here that there is less than 1 gram of saturated fats and 0 grams of trans fats. So what does that really mean? What we're going to do is we're going to look at those percentages. So you'll see a daily value indicated on the nutrition label. And what that is the amount you're supposed to have in an entire day. So we want to look for things that are 5% or less when it comes to both those saturated and those trans fats. So we see here that there is 3% of saturated fats and then 0% of trans fats. So this would be a good option. And the next thing you want to look for is sodium. So we know that sodium might be a little higher in those canned foods. So on this chicken, it's 10%. And that doesn't mean that you can't have this canned chicken. It's just important to keep in mind that you had a little bit of extra sodium in this. So maybe opt for a lower sodium option a little bit later in the day. So when we look at this container of oats, we see here that there are 0 grams of sodium. So this would be a great option to have a little bit later when you have a little bit extra sodium earlier on. The next thing we're going to talk about is our fiber intake. So many Americans don't get enough fiber in their diet, but fiber is so important because it helps with your digestion and your overall health. So we're going to look at 2 different options here. So we have this container of oats. And when we look at that nutrition label, we have 4 grams of fiber, or 13% of your daily percentage value. We also have this container of chia seeds. And when you see here, there are 10 grams of fiber, or 36% of your daily percentage value. So both of these would be a great option to add to your diet. Give us a call or stop in here at the Somerset County Health Department to learn more about our resources on how we can help you live a healthier life.